Hi, everyone, and welcome to the State of State Schools podcast. I'm your host, John Stamper, Christian author, former homeschooler, and former public school teacher. Once a week, I'll give a quick recap of the most important headlines in education and pull back the curtain on what's really happening in our kids' schools. If you're a teacher, parent, or homeschool family, this podcast is for you. Thanks for listening, and let's get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 46. This is going to be a special episode. Instead of giving you a recap of headlines for the week, I'm going to give you the names of some really cool, amazing resources. One is an awesome Christian education model that's a brilliant solution to the problem of woke, anti-God, anti-America, anti-family universities. Another is a Christian classical homeschool curriculum. And one is a unique brick and mortar Christian university in San Diego. So over the weekend, I had the opportunity to attend a conference for a group called Christian Education Initiative, CEI. To put it simply, the mission of CEI is, quote, saving our culture and children through Christian education, end quote. So at this conference, there were homeschool moms, pastors, representatives of organizations and ministries that align with that mission to save our culture and children through Christian education. And I know many of you want to do that as well. And perhaps you're looking for new resources or new groups to be a part of. So I'm just going to share a few of those resources I learned about at this conference. And I chose these three because two of them were brand new to me. I'd never heard of them before. And one I've known about for a year or two, but I was able to meet the founder and learn a little bit more. In fact, I was able to meet the founders of all three of these resources, so that was really, really cool, really special. The first resource is an organization called Christian Halls International. Christian Halls International, or CHI. CHI was founded by Dr. Nick Ellis, who received an Oxford education and has led various education initiatives around the world. So he had the vision of taking his Oxford style of education, which is largely mentor-driven, and not the typical American style of mentoring. It's more relational, conversational, more Socratic style. So he wanted to take this Oxford style of education and bring it to local, small communities around the world. And most importantly, it's a Christian organization, so the priority is the individual's relationship with Christ. So if you have teenagers who are thinking about their future, what to do, where to go to school, Christian Halls is an amazing option, but it's a little different. It's not like you're sending your child off to, a state university. It's going to be within your local community. So let me tell you a little bit more. Their mission statement says, quote, our mission is to return the responsibility of human formation to the local community of faith, end quote. So the goal of Christian Halls is to educate future leaders who will positively impact their families and communities for God's glory. So CHI doesn't build schools or bring in people to run a school. They're like a military-style operation where they come in to train members of the local community, equip them to do the things themselves, and then they leave. So self-governance is a huge part of their model, not state dependence, not government dependence, but self-governance. So a quote-unquote Christian hall is basically a local education community. They usually meet in churches once a week. Their website describes it as a small group of students guided through an accredited program by local mentors who desire academic excellence and are driven to see individuals thrive and communities flourish. So it's for higher education, anyone, from high school age and up. So I'll give a few examples of their core values. They believe that human formation begins first and foremost within the heart, and that parents are the primary educators within any given community. Thus, cultural renewal within society begins in the home through well-formed parents. We, therefore, prioritize the family as God's primary means of formation, which then builds into extended families and the broader church. All right, that's their core value, quote unquote. So, wow, what a difference. How different that is from our current public schools and universities. CHI says that parents are the primary educators. They prioritize the family, while our public education system, by and large, is implementing parental secrecy policies and sidestepping parents at almost every turn. So another core value of theirs that I'd like to highlight says, quote, education best takes place when rooted within a multi-generational community that actively seeks the renewal and continuation of that same community. Thus, while we seek to serve our regions, states, nations, and the broader world, we are highly focused on local, self-sustaining communities, end quote. So that's what Christian Halls is all about, but how do they actually accomplish these things? Well, after a quote-unquote hall is set up in a community, and a hall is just a gathering of people, or a number of people that are involved. It's not a physical building hall, okay? They rely on strategic partnerships with universities and other vendors, okay? So for example, one program offered by Christian Halls is a Christian trade school where students can learn a trade. So how this works is Christian Halls partners with an accredited university who offers a trades program. Then a local tutor or local mentor is certified by that university to mentor the students. So students usually have online work through that vendor, as well as real-world, on-the-job apprentice work. And groups can meet once a week with their mentor, usually at their local church. And they have that personal interaction, that discipleship, and true mentoring experience. Most importantly is the spiritual formation of the students. And once the work is done, you have a student with a skill set that not only provides them with career opportunities, but opportunities to serve God and minister to people within their local community. So this model is different from your typical university model, which takes the best and brightest out of a community, right? Takes them out of their local community to the state school, usually indoctrinates them with woke ideology, which most often results in that student, if they're a Christian going in, it often results in that student leaving the faith after their freshman year. 70% of the time, that's the case. So CHI, the CHA model, not only allows the student to thrive professionally in the community, but spiritually as well. So this is a new resource for me. I'm still learning about it, but I was able to meet Dr. Ellis, spend some time with him, listen to him do his presentation. He created this organization, and when I heard his presentation at the conference, I was really excited. So if it's something that interests you or might be interesting to someone you know, click the link on the episode page and check it out. The second resource I'd like to share is a Christian classical homeschool curriculum called Classical Conversations. I've talked about Classical Conversations before, and in addition to master books, which I highly recommend for homeschool families, I also highly recommend Classical Conversations as well. Of course, each family should make decisions that work best for them, and I know oftentimes homeschool families mix and match their curriculum based on subject area or based on what works best with their individual children. So I was fortunate enough to meet the founder of Classical Conversations, Lee Bortons, and I'll read straight from their website about their curriculum. So here's what it says. When you homeschool with Classical Conversations, we connect you with a local community of like-minded families who not only learn together, but do life together. We equip homeschool parents with the confidence to raise bright, observant students who have a lifelong love of learning. Classical Conversations empowers you to guide your child's educational development at every age and teaches you too. Our Christ-centered homeschool curriculum is rooted in the classical model and is in tune with the way children naturally learn. We believe education is best experienced together, and that's why community is the bedrock of our homeschool model. When you're a part of Classical Conversations, you belong to a local community that's got your back, whether you need help with math or an extra hand running errands. So in a way, Classical Conversations is very similar to the Christian Halls International group I just talked about. CHI focuses on higher education, and Classical Conversations focuses mostly on K-12 with some college credits, but their methods do have a lot of overlap. So in addition to their amazing curriculum, which offers courses from kindergarten to college level, Classical Conversations will also help you get started. They provide resources for a bunch of different homeschooling methods or styles. For example, they'll guide you through a 1 day a week format, if that's something that interests you, 3 days a week format, evening only co-ops, and they'll also help you set up scholarship funds. So they also provide a ton of information on government-funded education versus privately funded homeschooling. I highly suggest you read their resource called Vouchers, Shekels with Shackles. It gives a lot of great info on the dangers of the school choice movement, vouchers, ESAs, etc. So just remember this about Classical Conversations. Their focus is on these three things: Christian, classical, and community. So click on the link in this episode page and check them out. The final resource I want to share is Chula Vista Christian University in San Diego. So I talk about California public schools a lot, and it's usually negative. But Chula Vista Christian University, CVCU, is definitely a positive, and it's helping young men and women in California combat the public education system's cradle-to-grave indoctrination. That's what they say on their website. So what is CVCU all about? Well, they provide a faith-based, mentor-driven, debt-free higher education. In fact, they're the first mentor-based university system in the modern era. The mentor model is based off the Oxford style of education and the homeschooling model, so it kind of blends the two, which I think makes perfect sense. In fact, all three of these resources that I'm sharing today include mentoring as their number one means of instruction, usually a 1-to-3 or 1-to-4 teacher-student ratio. Their mission is, quote, through intentional mentorship, rigorous reading, and career-driven internships, CVCU will equip scholars and visionaries who will advance the kingdom, strengthen the community, and lead with excellence in the home, the church, and the marketplace, end quote. They offer tons of majors, and they tailor their degree programs to the individual and their unique talents, as opposed to the standard model of unique students going off to a state university and then changing and conforming to the university's degree requirements. So I know I'm talking about a university here, but the founder, Dr. Lisa Dunn, has also established over 30 Christian homeschool academies across the country. So Chula Vista Christian is a potential destination for homeschool graduates and, of course, public school graduates from all locations. I was fortunate enough to meet the founder, Dr. Lisa Dunn, at the CEI conference, and let me tell you, she's an inspiration. And I believe what she's doing is a great work and a great benefit to believers in California and the community as a whole. So if you're in California and you're looking for higher education, maybe you have teens approaching that stage of life, or maybe you're, older, maybe in your 30s, 40s, 60s, whatever. Maybe you're not in California, but you're willing to go to school out of state. Consider Chula Vista Christian University. All right, everybody, I hope that was helpful in some way. Again, all of the links are on the episode page, so click them, check them out, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Take care.